What you are about to hear was recorded by me, Maya Nartumid, over 40 years ago. I was acting as a Merkaba for Akashic receipt in what is said and chanted on this recording. It was not professionally mastered, being recorded on a simple cassette recorder of the 1970s. However, it contains highly encoded frequencies from the Incala temple to be received by the listener on multiple levels. Actually, in the static itself are the more subliminal codes, just as science is now finding static to contain other world voices and sounds in what is called EVPs, or electronic voice phenomena. I invite you to listen now to this recording, which was made by me those many years ago. Let us go back into time, not only to the 1970s, but beyond, to the time of the Incala. Thank you.
On this tape you will be given the earth initiation of an Atlantean Incan. This race of ancients called themselves Incala, children of the solar monarch. They inhabited the high plateau of Titicaca in South America after the cataclysms that snatched their mother Atlantis from the earth in the midst of a sunless day. On the high spiritual planes, such initiations as this cultural ceremony are continuous, forming waves of energy forever spiraling about the planet. Each of us is an initiate. We seek the hearth of our own soul, wherein the flaming spirit ignites divine constancy. Yet each soul is an individual initiate, whose needs and purpose is singular. Therefore there are many veils of initiation, and many altars of service. This initiation is a sacred oath of consciousness, given to a high-order initiate ascended from this reality, who is transposing the light tone through me. Each listener must be aware that what they hear now is a blend of words and tones which are in synchronistic association with the higher order. There is great power to be tapped within it, a power of spirit that must be received humbly to be received at all. This right is not meant to be studied or reason applied. It is a great flow which must be taken freely into the heart and mind. This accomplished, the healing and all-absorbing energies of the sacred initiation will fasten with fingers of understanding to your soul. This is the single message. Seek no other. Become part of the living sound. Allow it to recapture the time and space of the Atlantean Incan spirit life consummation. It is a heritage that cannot be replaced and that will never be displaced from the genetic memory of the earth. Other than the birds singing in the background and the occasional slight click of the recorder as it is turned on and off, you will hear in two separate parts of the chant a static buzz for a few seconds each. This is caused by the contacting energies on the etheric plane discharging a current into the recorder in an attempt to imprint sounds and voices of the race. This is not fully accomplished, but there are faint whispers of such sounds as surf, and at the first of the chant a tone as if being blown from a conch shell. These suggestions of etheric accompaniment are not prominent and largely depend on the perception of the individual in distinguishing them at all. The golden plateau awaits the morning light. The ascended lake resides untempted by the spoils of time in the midst of the high plain. It is lavished not with age, nor visited by derelict vestments of the past. The great blue waters of the mountain table conform to space and time as a stylus conforms to the contour of a scholar's hand when his mind moves the perfect symmetry of his script across an unbroken page. Only the Incala, the children of the solar monarch, may register the conquest of their father as he commands the emancipation of light from the depths of the unseen and appears each morning with his glorious host of creation upon the sacred plateau of the sun. They alone may witness the bridling of the solar mantle as it is led across the heavens from this holy place. They are blessed to reside upon the throne of the world, where no manner of agony may approach them or cause their shadows to be swallowed in the earth. They are the children who were lifted up from the lap of the mother as she wreathed in a final agony and was spent beneath the tumultuous folds of the sea. It is the Incala who must forever be grateful to the Father for gathering them with the scepter of his might and carrying them in his powerful breath into his sacred place on earth. And now the wondrous moment has come when the tides of pale light vanquish the shiver of darkness. Stronger and stronger the emanates of the Sun King become. The broad shoulders of the mountains seem to bow in reverence, bronzed in a portico of pink and amber. All manner of being upon the golden plateau lower their countenance to the majesty of this royal manifest, which is bestowed by the one and great being, whose presentment is in the eternity of the sun. The initiates of his company come before him as his greatness is centered upon the high plain, coupled in embrace with the elements of nature. For the initiates are the prodigies of his spirit, the children of his generation in the womb of the earth. Lo, the initiates come. They sit in silence within the vessels of the lake as they approach the island of the sun, the foremost print of their father's hand upon his domain. The Kafala, the initiates of the Father, disembark from the ships of the ether sail, whose ambulance is not in the winds, but in the waves of the sun. They walk solemnly in a column of two, male and female, towards Zucateletxe, the most regent of the sun temples, where the Father communes with light and song directly to his children. The first of the male and female initiates enter the hall of Muir. It is of polished blue crystal, the eye of Neptune, which is the stone of aquamarine. Never before have these children seen inside Zucateletxe. They are in ecstasy at the sight, and become more radiant with each moment. At the end of the long hall they see a shale of light so thick as to be solid to the eye, yet so fine as to be invisible to the touch. With humility the sun children pass through the shale into the chamber of 7 faces. Herein they kneel before a simple stone altar of white granite, and looking upward they place their sight upon a small slit in the wall above. As the sun is received in the sky, so the beam of the Father's sight will single out the chamber of 7 faces, and penetrate the darkness therein. The great Majesty will reveal through his sword of light the 7 faces of his divineship to the initiates of his company. As the first sliver of sunlight assumes brilliance through the portal of the chamber, the 2 initiates bond their minds together as one. The female initiate closes her eyes and abides the while sightless to the light. The male will see the light for her as she registers the sound of the holy concordance in voice, and he remains muted. Beneath her lids, the initiate Rhea sees the sacred tree of golden fire. The voice of the great being consumes her in the flame, and she chants the harmonia of the first exile, when the children departed their dying mother Atlantis in her last days. It is a sound of sorrow, a sound of mourning. But the sadness is like a wine of rich fullness, inducing a melancholy sleep. It bids the dreamer to cherish the sorrow as a seed for blossoming joy. Only through sorrow can the initiate know the sacredness of joy. Only in mourning death can new life be celebrated. Age is displaced by age, yet respect and solemnity for the past must never be lost. Rhea joins closely with the mind of the initiate Rahat, as his eyes never falter from the ensuing light. She gives forth her voice to the ether of the heavenly spheres. voice is stilled, her eyes respond to the command and open wide. Rahad turns to her and smiles. It is completed. They reach to clasp hands. They are strong together, and their union is realized in the sight of the Father. Whereas 2 life-giving flames entered Zucatileche, now 3 depart. Life is fashioned from life, but it is given from spirit, a greater consummation than mortal flesh can provide.